I know how you weird generic white people are, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to drive home. I want you to open your door. I want you to go up your stairs. I want you to go into your room. I want you to cry into your Hello Kitty pillow. I want you to put on some Taylor Swift and try to shake it off, you bland bitch. Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. I'm not a bland bitch. Shake it off, shake it off, shake it off, shake it off. This does not look like shaking off, shaking off. I'm Charles Wrighton with my review of AEW Dynamite from Columbus, Ohio, the Nationwide Arena, where the capacity was 20,000 people, according to WrestleTix on Twitter, about 42 to 4,500 people. Even if they're just using half the goddamn arena, they couldn't even put. Oh God, this crowd, even though they were trying to be energized, man, it sounded and it felt hollow. And they are closing in on Wembley Stadium all in. It's certainly going to be interesting to see how that does and how All Out does the next week. And they're putting television programs out like this. I'll give them credit. There were a couple things on the show I didn't mind, but there was a lot of talking on this one. So, the Jericho Appreciation Society, they're in the ring already. Everybody, literally everybody, even anybody that was just on the periphery. No, wait, I'm kidding. Just the usual members, about, a goddamn baseball team right there. Just a batting lineup and everything, and who's switch hitting, who goddamn knows. Jericho comes out there singing Judas, and why is Jericho given so much creative control to just do whatever when he is bad shit like this happens? He has some ideas that, if filtered, can work, but he should not be in charge of his own creative and in charge of anything like this, because this was bad. Nobody could cut a goddamn halfway decent promo. Hager should not be there anymore. Ty, get the fuck out. Go have the kid stay home. She's gonna come back and be a champion. Of course you are, honey. Of course you are. Anna Jay, who's in the main event. And she looks like a star. I'll give her that much credit. And then basically everybody leaves, and Sammy says, I'm not going to leave you, but you know what? Here's what you're going to do. You're going to figure out your shit, and then maybe I'll still be around. All because Jericho is entertaining the idea of joining the Don Callis, not Bobby Heenan family. Don Callis fucking wishes he was Bobby Heenan now. So, Jericho and Don Callis are backstage. Well, almost in the parking garage. And he says, I'm going to give you my answer. My answer will come next week. I'm ready to give you the answer, is what I was trying to say. Okay, so that was about the first 15 to 17 minutes of the program. God damn it. I don't want to hear any complaints about WWE going along on their opening talking segments. Quite frankly, this should have been half of what it was. I'm sorry, but this group, past their sale date, past their expiration date, whatever date you want to slap on them, it's not good. It has not been good for a while. So, recast of FTR's challenge to the Bucks, and here come the Bucks with Brandon Cutler against the Hardys. And, I know they faced off on a few shows over the years, and they faced off at Double or Nothing last year. And I'm sure this was a thrill for the Bucks, and I'm sure the Hardys are just happy to get back out there and try to prove that they can't do jack shit. Good fucking God. This was sad to watch, is what I noted 5 different times during this match. Referee Rick Knox, so now the rules are going to be enforced, because that guy can't enforce fucking rules to save his life. And the Hardys are washed. Jeff Hardy can't go anymore. The Bucks hit a 3D. It was more like a 0.5D, because they're put together, they're half the size of Devon. Matt got pinned by Matt, I think, or possibly by Nick. I don't care. This match, this was sad to watch. This was ridiculous. The Bucks can do their stuff. And if you like their stuff, then you're going to enjoy this. But no, this was not good. The Hardys should not be in the ring anymore. They should not be in the ring. I know they're under contract. Tony Khan made a mistake. Sign him. He did. Besides merch and besides maybe a pop in the ratings, I think once or twice, what benefit has there been for the Hardys being part of the company? And Jeff Hardy, he's a liability. Even if he is actually clean and sober and will continue to stay clean and sober, It's not good. It's not good at all. And this tag match is not good. But before the Bucks cut a promo, or at least try to, because neither of the Bucks really can talk, Brandon Cutler does comedy with the cold spray. And the Bucks call it FTR, who immediately come out and basically they just say all in. So they're all in at All In. We're almost 30 minutes into the program now, and they're going to have a women's tournament to determine a four-way match at All In. Tony exercised her rematch clause, so she's already in there. So Hikaru Shida and Anna Jay, Hikaru Shida, who's the current champion, and Anna Jay, they're going to face off, and the winner of that goes into the four-way for the women's championship. Here's an idea. Why didn't you have another match and have Anna Jay just get her shot there, and you could do something else, utilize some of the other women? And well, who were the other women? Sky Blue and Saraya, defender of Abuserverse, and Britt versus the Bunny. Okay, so maybe they really didn't have that much to pick from. You could have had Nyla Rose. You could have had Nyla Rose versus somebody. How about her versus her partner, Marina Shafir? But we don't know her. So, this is convoluted. Tournaments and battle royals and all these stipulation matches and all this, and you don't need to do this stuff. Plus, Sky versus Saraya. Are they trying to make Sky hate wrestling? Because Saraya can't fucking wrestle anymore. Alright, Cole and MJF, there's another video package. They're going to be at a trampoline park instead of going around with banging a bunch of rats like MJF wanted to. And MJF beans a bunch of kids with some dodgeballs, which was funny because that teaches the little shits early on that life's not fair. I kid, of course. Don't worry. I don't actually loathe children. I don't want to be around children. That basically has been just pushed into my head because of, well, working around younger people when I was always one of the older employees, and also the fact that I worked at a movie theater and at Kohl's, and kids are not well behaved. They need to be taught a lesson. Like, hey kids, how about you just behave and maybe you'll actually get your shit. So anyway, he did say one funny line, MJF did, where he said, hey kid, I slept with your mom. And then Cole's all upset. And MJF says, yeah, it's on me. And this little girl says, what are two grown men doing at a trampoline park? You're both nerds. And then Cole says, you shouldn't talk like that. And the little girl flips him off. So he said, Max one more. Oh, thank God. And goes to bean her because apparently a kid flipping off is a bad thing. Recaps of the Blackpool Combat Club and Best Friend feud, fiasco, whatever the hell you want to call it, cauldron of bullshit. That's what I'll call it, even though it's wordy. I did see the parking lot brawl thing that they did. It was just as stupid as the one that the Best Friends did against Proud and Powerful at the time, or Santana Ortiz, whatever the hell they were calling them. And then Mox, Claudio, and Yuta were talking. First about Death Triangle and the Best Friends and all that stuff, and are they going to have Moxley against Orange Cassidy? Are they really going to build up to that? Like, they really think... I'm sorry, but there ain't no way the Mox is going to want the championship. I guarantee you he's not really good. There is no way to win here. There's no way to win here. The BCC don't fear death. Death fears us. And evidently, good wrestling fears Moxley. Look, Moxley can work. He just refuses to. And that's the frustrating thing. Yuta's fine. I forgot Claudio was a Ring of Honor champion. They have to remind me in the intros, in the entrances, that Claudio's a Ring of Honor champion. RVD gets a halfway decent reaction. He takes on Jack Perry. Jack Perry's embracing his heel run in his FTW Rules Championship match. The crowd loved RVD. I did like how pieces of the gear just flew off. Whether it was, didn't matter who it was just absolutely hilarious. The pieces of the gear were immediately off, which was kind of an indicator of how this match was going to go. And they did the barricade leg drop that, RVD does. And then during the break, there was a table outside. There were some chairs in the ring. RVD was blown up, is what I noted. He did hit Rolling Thunder. The man's 52. I don't expect him to have the cardio and the endurance that he used to, but Whew, he was sucking wind. Um, then the referee took a chair bump, and the chair was just sitting on the goddamn top rope, which was kind of comedy. And Jack got sent through a table. The referee's still down. 5-star frog splash. No referee. Aubrey eventually runs down. 1, 2, and just a kick out. And then we get a low blow, despite the fact it looked like to be a referee distraction in a no DQ match. And then a chair shot in the corner, and then a roll up 1, 2, 3. So yeah, Jack Perry winning via heel shenanigans. That's fine. Thanks for coming, RVD. I mean, whatever. I'm sure he got a pretty good payout. And, you know, the Pantera song being included was nice. And then Alex Abrahantes and the Lucha Bros are backstage. A lot of people forget that the Lucha Bros actually can speak English, but Alex Abrahantes, being bilingual, which is a good thing to be, is, he's a good translator for him. They are going to come after the BCC. Cole and MJF come out to a pop, and MJF just raring to go. That really should have been a better hand motion there, but he's just raring to go, and I'll just keep doing this and making it worse. May God strike me down if my favorite place in the world isn't the Midwest. And he pretends like he's going to get struck. Okay, it was funny. That was funny because he always called the Midwest mid. I think he did that during the Brian Pillman Jr. feud. Boy, that was good for about 2 minutes. He called Melanie Metheny, which is what she was, and I don't feel bad saying that. Piece of shit. Possible promo battle. MJF's like, oh, you want a promo battle? And then he just instantly starts going, it's like, you were so thin and white that if this was the 80s, Hulk Hogan would have snorted you. And then starts going off on a whole bunch of stuff. And then Cole's like, Max, that's not what I want. And MJF's like, that's my bad. This was is it over the top entertaining? Sure. Is it a little bit too goofy? Sure. But you know what? On this program, I'll take what I can get. How about some tag gold? They couldn't win the AEW Tag Team Championship, so how about we face Aussie Open at 0 Hour? Why? Cole talks about all the great teams. The Kings of Wrestling, Red Dragon, Mark and Jay Briscoe. Rest in peace, Jay Briscoe. And Cole's never won them. He wants to win them. And MJF says, so let me get this straight. You want me to wrestle twice in one night? And he's like, fine. He goes over the top and he agrees. And then here's Roddy to act like a whiny bitch. And MJF says, you weird generic white people, talk about him listening to Taylor Swift and shaking it off, you bland bitch. Shake it off. I'm not a bland bitch. And Roddy's like, the kingdom was right about you. You're not my friend. They're my friends. At least Mike Bennett and Matt Taven are on television. We have a tag team we could possibly use, and we possibly get to see Maria Kanellis on television. That's not a bad thing. Quote DDP as the motivational speaker. That's a good thing. God, what a weird time that was. They never knew what to do with him in WWE. So, MJF's like, oh, bye, all this stuff, everything's like, so long, good riddance, and Cole shoves him and pokes his finger in his chest, like, I'm your friend, but he's my friend too, and MJF gets that look, that the sympathy from the devil is starting to fade away, and then he's like, wait, it's cool, they hug it out, but MJF still got that look in his eye. They could have it be that MJF was driving the wedge, or that MJF paid Roderick and the Kingdom to do more of the wedge driving and everything to really screw over and isolate Adam Cole. I almost said Michael Cole. Michael Cole should be isolated and put into space with no oxygen. But nevertheless, he's not on this show. Adam Cole, baby, is. I'm kind of curious where they're going to go. Collision recaps. Interested to see if Billy actually is going to stick to his retirement or if they're going to give him one final run with glory. If he wants to retire, that's fine. Wild Thing, you make Columbus sing. Then the Lucha Bros jump from, I don't know, the Great Barrier Reef. They just ran through the crowd and did that. And yeah, who could have possibly seen that? And then it's a jump start, and it's Claudio and Mox against the Lucha Bros. Yuta is in the corner of the BCC, and Alex is in the corner of the Lucha Bros, and it was a mess. It was a goddamn mess. Referee Aubrey did the best she could. Look, I guess this was a little bit better than some of the matches that they could have had, but that being said, I don't care for anything the BCC does. And the Lucha Bros, as much as I love them, Penta was one of the nicest goddamn people I've met as far as a star. Really, really cool, really personable, and they were great to see in person. Seen about everything they can goddamn do in 4 years on cable television. Later we get a chop fest between Penta and Mox, and we get just everybody. We get some dives. We get a pile driver botch because, I don't know, Mox didn't want to go down or sell the goddamn thing. Wouldn't be surprised. And then Alex and Yuta get involved for a little bit. Phoenix seemed to hurt his knee. Hope he's alright. And then Arula pins Penta because Mox removed the mask. And then Claudio puts on the mask and they beat him down. And the mask on Claudio actually kind of worked. I don't know why. But they're beating him down, all this. The referees can't stop them. They can only hope to contain them. And this is happening. I also forgot that Aussie Open were actually the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. I kept wondering, why are the Ring of Honor Tag Champions getting beat down? And, oh yeah, it's Aussie Open. So then Marvez is with Omega. Omega has a sit-down interview next week with JR. Good, JR is back. I hope he's healthy. I hope he's happy. And I hope he's doing well. But Omega blandly says he's going to address his future and also what's going to happen at All In. Why is Marvez still there? Genuine question. Why is Marvez still there? So the embassy, the Mogul Embassy affiliates, whatever, as Swerve and his crew are there. Bishop Khan looks great, by the way. And Swerve cuts a promo talking about how they had to send a message to Nick Wayne. Easy for me to say. And that we're above the law, especially in my city. You're from Tacoma. You're not from Seattle, Swerve. And I love Swerve. But goddamn it, Swerve, you know all about geography. It could take an hour to go from Tacoma to Seattle, or Seattle to Tacoma, or 2 hours sometimes, because traffic in Western Washington is a fucking bitch. But nevertheless, also I thought Nick lived in Everett. Maybe they live in Seattle. I don't know. I thought they lived in Everett. Granted, you had to say Seattle because unless you're a Western Washingtonian, and I mean a Western Washingtonian, because I guarantee you some people in East Washington don't actually know where the fuck Everett is. Everett is the next city south from me, basically, just to give you an idea. Look at a map of Washington State, and if you can stomach the fact that you're looking at Washington State, as cool as the state can be, yeah, it can be a bit of a bitch. Nevertheless, here's Darby, and he basically says, you know, Fox, you're not telling the whole story. I lived with you, and I was trying to help you fight your demons, but then I realized you had to fight your demons on your own. The crowd was silent for this. The crowd was like, are we supposed to listen? What's happening? Who's a drug addict? Why do we care about any of this? What is going on? And you have friends, Fox, but I have friends too. And suddenly it lights out, and then they have to wake up Sting, and you gotta poke him with a stick. I don't want to do showtime today. And then it's Sting! Eventually, I really think they had to wake him up. Sting basically hits everybody with weak baseball bat shots. Darby can't quite get to AR Fox, who runs about 50 feet into the crowd. And then Sting just holds a bat at Swerve's neck and then points at the sign as if to say, I want you at All In. And then we find out what kind of match it is, literally a few minutes later. Okay, they're trying with Rampage is what I noted. I'm still not going to review Rampage because it got to the point where I was only getting maybe 6 minutes out of an hour-long show, and that was if I basically said, here's everything that's wrong with what they're doing. Collision rundown. But for Rampage, Orange Cassidy versus Johnny TV. You signed John Morrison, John Hannigan, whatever name you want to give him. I'm going to call him John Morrison because that's the name he had for a while. John Morrison, Johnny Impact, Johnny Elite, Johnny Mundo, and Lucha Underground, who's a great talent. And that's how you're fucking using him against a joke. And Orange Cassidy is a joke. I'm sorry. So, Dynamite, by the way, is going to have Darby and Nick Wayne against the Gates of Agony. I believe are Bishop Khan and Toa Leona. Okay. And then Darby and Sting versus Swerve and AR Fox in a coffin match at All In. It's a tag team coffin match. Okay. Why? Speaking of why, Sheeta versus Anna Jay for the AEW Women's Championship. And look, let me say right now, I've been waiting for them to feature the women's division more properly, and it's about time they did. It's also far too late. You can't just suddenly turn on a dime and start doing that, and Shida, as much as I love Shida, she needs somebody better to work with. Anna Jay looks great, looks incredible, has improved in the ring. This was not a main event for Dynamite. If they had built it up a little bit better, it's odd. It's just odd that they would do this. It's just odd that they would decide to suddenly have, this be the second straight women's main event in a row. They're really trying to, get away from the fact that, there's all this civil unrest going on in the women's division, allegedly, reportedly, maybe, kinda. Shida won. I'm sorry, I don't think that this was a Dynamite main event. That's all I have to say right there. It was what it was. There was a bad interference spot where I think one of them was trying to wake up Anna Jay, but she was knocked out by the kick. And yeah, this match certainly happened. Shida won. Watch Saraya win the title at All In, completely negating Shida's hard work. Yeah, that's it for that. So Collision this Saturday. More New Japan G1 Climax coverage, quarterfinals, semifinals, finals, and movies and fun. Anyway, what do you think of Dynamite? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.